Hello and welcome to PPC Live The Podcast. I'm your host, Anu, the founder of PPC Live. And if you're used to hearing advice from PPC experts about how to ensure that we're keeping up with the ever-changing landscape, don't worry, you are still in the right place. But instead of me relaying what the PPC experts are saying, I'm bringing the PPC experts to you. Every week, I'm going to be speaking to different PPC experts about their biggest F-up and how they turned it around, because the best of us in our industry have not reached there by making no mistakes and no failings like you might see all over LinkedIn. It's a path filled with loads of F-ups. So I get our brave experts to come speak to us about some of theirs and give you their learnings so that you don't make the same mistakes. I have the delight of speaking to Susan Yen this time, who I met in San Diego for the Brighton SEO that was out there. And, I'd been following her for a while, but once I met her and just saw her energy, I was like, I need to introduce her to the PPC Live audience. So, we're going to be talking about some F-ups that she's experienced, whether between account structures and PMax, and how, especially in the age of automation, building accounts is not as straightforward as you think. So it's a really interesting story and we have lots of laughs in it. So I hope you enjoy. Let's go speak to Susan. Hello, Susan. Welcome to PPC Live, the podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Catch up again.
I know, yes, and very much so. So, again, Susan and I, what did I say there? Very much so. Very much so. As Susan and I, we had the best time in San Diego when we at in San Diego for Brighton SEO. It was a fantastic event. Susan was speaking. She did a great job amongst the other, loads of like HeroConf, speakers up there. That was my first one to go out there. San Diego is beautiful. Like even in like late September, but the sun was out. I was out in sundresses, having like a tea on a balcony. I felt so lovely.
Gorgeous. It's so nice.
It really is. But you live in also like a almost sunny all year round part of the world as well, in Texas, right?
Yes, Texas. I escaped the New England weather because last year was the last winter I could live through. I ran away.
You ran away. And you ran away from Boston. Was it there?
I ran away from, so I lived in Boston for a bit and then lived in New Hampshire. And then, so I went from New Hampshire to Austin, Texas. And while it's getting cold over there, I am outside enjoying this lovely weather.
Living your best life with the heat.
Yes.
Look, we work hard all the time. We need to be able to choose we're allowed to choose the weather we love that we're going to experience all year round. I love that for you. So good for you. So let's rein it in, because we've been chatting a while now and we've not even introduced you to our lovely listeners. So Susan Yen is a results-driven PPC strategist and team leader with 8+ years of experience developing and managing high-performing accounts across Google, Bing, Facebook ads, and Instagram. So we're talking paid and social. She's led cross-functional teams, mentoring specialists, and speaking at conferences, as you'll have gathered from the fact that she spoke at San Diego at Brighton SEO. And loves to write about, and producing educational content. She's got a deep expertise in full funnel performance marketing, campaign strategy, team development, and data storytelling, and is passionate about growth testing and building brands with purpose. I love that, because even that came into our conversation before we started recording about how, in your career at some point you'd love to be with a brand where you can look at the full funnel, not just PPC, not just one channel. And everybody that just looks at that silo and just looks at their channel, it's irritating, isn't it?
It is. It's especially if because everything is. I always say this on so many conversations. It's a holistic approach.
Yes.
It's not just, if you can't put all your eggs in one basket, as many people would say.
Yeah.
So if your PPC doesn't work, that we gotta figure out. The whole thing.
You gotta figure it out. And now Susan's fun fact, which I absolutely love. Susan is like royalty hair, especially like the royalty that we have in the UK. Like, God rest her soul, you guys, if you UK listeners, you might remember the Queen had 2 birthdays. So does Susan. Susan has 2 birthdays, one in January and one in July. Now, I'll let you tell the story. How did that come about?
So I was born in South Sudan. and came here as a refugee, and we didn't have any documents. And I
Oh,
came here before my parents did, and I didn't know how to speak English at all. So when they were asking me when my birthday was, I don't even remember celebrating a birthday. We
yeah.
just celebrated everything. So they decided to make up a day and a year. So my sisters and my cousin who also came here, we all have January 1st, just a different year.
Right.
And then 4 years later, my parents, my birth parents, came to the United States, and we're celebrating what we thought was my birthday. And they're like, "Nope, what are we doing here? we have, gee, that is not when your birthday is. It is in July."
Oh, hilarious.
But I like to celebrate both, but I do like the whole birthday month. So I feel bad for the people in my life. Now there's 2 months. I take a
Nay, you're just giving them a good reason to celebrate. I don't
yeah.
feel
You
bad.
have to. You have
I
to
don't
find
feel
ways to
bad.
celebrate everything.
Yeah, yeah. We need more things to celebrate. The
Yeah.
world can seem so dark and miserable sometimes. We need to remember that there are things to celebrate, and
Yes.
as much as we can do that, let's do it. I'm all about birthday months as well, and October is mine. And I'm going to be traveling at the end of it because I love myself and I love my life and I work hard and therefore I need to treat myself. So, yo, birthday week, you probably won't get a podcast episode. Let me just pre-warn folks, but I'll be back. I'll be back after a week and I'm sure you guys will celebrate with me and understand. Because,
We'll
yeah,
be cheersing. We'll cheers you on your
honestly, have a champagne on October 29th. Have a glass of Prosecco, champagne. If you don't drink, it's fine.
bubbles.
Yeah, no, bubbles, nice sparkling water. Like, please celebrate on October 29th. That'll be fantastic. Anyway, enough of that. We've been speaking to for over 5 minutes and we've not even started the fantastic show. I just thought to myself in our pre-chat, I didn't ask about what mistake that you're going to share about. But anyway, I'm sure it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll learn lots from it. I'm excited for you guys to hear from Susan. I'm so grateful to her because yeah, it is not easy to just be like, okay, let's talk about the mistakes and everything. In fact, oh, sorry, I do need to throw in this anecdote. And I was going to post about it on LinkedIn. I saw this lovely Instagram video of this guy trying to learn how to like spin a baton kind of thing. And it looked like thick one. Like we are not just talking like some light stick, like a thick one. And you could see like the video was like 2 minutes long. So there was like 10, 15 tries of him just messing up and hitting his arm and everything. And you're like, oh God, that dude is in pain. But of course, in the last few seconds, we saw the clip of him actually doing it. And I was like, because when he then did it, oh, it looked easy. But clear because we'd seen the mistake, I literally was like, well done to that guy. After all that trial and all the mistakes he made and all the fumbling, he got it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, his fingers must be in pain, but he's there. The victory from getting
Yeah.
it. It just made me think of why I love doing this podcast because I'm like, you hear about all the mistakes and we see the successes that our fantastic experts are now. So, imagine for yourself that even though you're sitting here going, oh God, yeah, I made a mistake yesterday or I made a mistake the other day, that doesn't have to stop your journey. That doesn't have to stop your journey. And these conversations about how we pick ourselves back up, the mistakes our experts have made, so that you don't make the same ones, and to just give yourself confidence to keep testing things out. So I'll hand it over to Susan. Susan, what f up would you like to share with us today?
Well, I've had more than one, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We take it as learning lessons, and I think one of the one like account structuring is something that I think people, and of course me myself, is not everything that you try and the ways that you structure something always makes the most amount of sense
Mm,
for that business, or especially like choosing the campaign types. But as you're doing those account structures, there's always these automated things that you might miss, and it just goes and spends clients budgets in a way that isn't great. So then of course, your account structure looks great from the outside. You have your reporting calls with your clients, and you're seeing, yeah, this is amazing, these are great, and we can't figure out, where these results are coming from because you didn't structure it appropriately. So I always try to make sure, to talk to the clients, because they'll tell you uh, basically how to structure, because their website is
Yeah.
structured as such. So I always tell my teammates and like, you don't work too hard on trying to overly, sometimes you're like, I'm gonna have so many different types of ad groups, and instead of segmenting them out and making them a little bit more granular so you can see the results better, because sometimes you're just stuffing a bunch of things in here. Because we have a lot of dealerships, and we'll do new and used vehicles, but you can't just do new and used because then you have different makes and models within those, and we're trying to figure out, which cars and which types of cars are producing the most amount of results. Instead, we're just getting very general, like, here's used and new. And I'm like, no, let's figure out and get to the root of what is actually working for the audience and for the people. In order to do that, we've got to do a better structure than just kind of generalizing certain things. And as PPC people, sometimes we're moving too quick when we
Yeah.
especially set up those campaigns. And to me, your structure is your foundation. And if you mess that up, you kind of have to start all over again. So I also did that with like Performance Max too. I just ran and was like, let's just run everything on PMax. That we all
So even if it might be that PMax story, because what I'd like to do with you and the audience is actually take us through the whole, you know, discovering the error. Sorry, like I feel like, and this is why I'm very grateful to our guests, because it's like I know it might be unlocking some memories that you've
ah,
managed
thank you.
to get away from. But sorry, we're gonna bring them back to the surface one last
Ah,
time. So let's zone in on one particular story and of you discovering the error. How did you speak about it to the client? How let's do that. Let's do that. Give me one example of like that.
I don't know how I ended up on the PMax bandwagon, and I speak on like PMax is so great, and that's my speaking engagements are
Yeah.
usually about promoting PMax and how it's great for lead gen, and it is love hate relationship with it, of course.
Right.
So when it first came out, I didn't want to test it out, didn't want to run it because
We
I
don't
want
know it.
insight into the metrics. And then I had a newer client that spends a lot more money, and I manage those clients, and we set everything up on PMax. And now we're over here talking about the traffic has increased drastically. The results are really great, only to basically find out that those leads are not that great. Um,
Okay.
and the traffic that's coming in, it's really hard to control. I
Okay.
don't know whether they're coming in from a display. Usually, I'm assuming they're just whatever. And you weren't able to add negatives. Now you can, and those
Yeah.
content exclusions weren't really there. There's a lot more restrictions or control than usual, but I would
Yes.
like more. So that was the thing is we also messed up on our conversions were not fixed appropriately. So PMax is a conversion based campaign.
Yeah.
And if your conversions, if you're not already driving high quality conversions, you shouldn't run PMax. And that was my mistake was not necessarily ignoring it, but saying, oh, you know what, these conversions are good, they're okay, but not that they are correct and they are high quality leads. And I did not check with the team on what that quality looks like. And I just kind of, worked off of whatever was already running. So yeah, so when where I was looking at the numbers and I'm so excited to have that monthly call with them. And they're like, no, Susan, we did not get this many numbers of leads. We got like three. It's you now, we've wasted a lot of money, and that's a different kind of conversation where we
Yeah.
tried something, it didn't work, and that's thousands of dollars worth of now we gotta go back to square one and kind of retry again. But that's always like a difficult conversation. But I did tell them, I was like, this is a newer campaign, here's transparency of what this might look like.
Okay.
But that is something that I definitely missed was what is a conversion tracking setup look like, because there were some page view stuff that missed that normally it wouldn't even be in there. And then
An
of course Google
option.
always just adds
Yeah. Yeah.
random conversions that if you
Yeah.
don't look and you don't check. Yeah. So there was some hidden stuff in there that I just always check your conversion tracking. I do it on a monthly basis now to make sure like nothing new is coming in there and I'm aware of what is changing, of course. So that was definitely a big one and they were not happy about that.
Yeah.
But I think again, the conversation we're always testing things and we're always trying to figure out, what works for them and what doesn't work for them. And I think if you preemptively let them know that, oh, this didn't work. So
Yeah.
we did end up switching some of the campaigns over, and we started thinking about PMax as a different entity in its own. It's a different part of the funnel
Yeah.
altogether from like display to search. So yeah, I learned my lesson there, and that it takes a lot more time to set up PMax. Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time with it. It is not search, it's not display, it's not just, and I was too busy going, "Oh, I can, this is really easy. I can just throw
Da,
in a
da,
bunch of
da.
stuff and have that software do its thing." Yeah. So we learned.
Yeah. You're
It's
like,
not.
and what is like, because I was like getting insights of as to as well what your relationship like is with your manager, the
Mm.
person, because those kind of meetings, do you have them with the manager there, or you're the most senior person on those calls with the client?
So normally, because I have my own manager and then I manage clients, but then I manage people that
Yeah,
manage our clients. So I kind of do a little bit of both, where I'll have conversations with my manager about, hey, this is something that happened, um, but this is what's going on. This is the structure. And then of course, like if my team has similar issues where we have a client that something happened, we messed up. How do we resolve it? And my thing is always just the transparency aspect of it, is from the onboarding to whenever, we always send clients the structure that we're talking about, the type of campaigns we're going to run, and then what is our goal? Like, what are they trying to accomplish? Because our job is to make that come true.
yeah, yeah,
So it's always an interesting conversation, but it's just like, what did we learn from
yeah,
it, and how do we move forward and provide a solution to the clients? Because that's ultimately what they want. Like
yeah.
not
Exactly.
everyone's perfect, so they're like, okay, we messed up. Take accountability for it, and then how are we going to solve this and make sure, we keep an eye out and we don't make the same mistake?
Same mistakes.
Um,
Again, yeah. So they are from the beginning of the conversations with them. What I'm hearing is that you impart the importance of like that you guys will keep testing things, kind of thing, and so they have understanding of the scope of possible things that will go wrong. So yeah. So speak on that. Could you please speak on that for like our audience? Like, why is that important, and when should people really do that in terms of ensuring that people are ready for things possibly going wrong?
yeah, I think that they should do that at any point, especially in the beginning. Honestly, every monthly meeting reporting call that we do, we make sure that, because this is like, we don't know that some things that I don't think are gonna work for those. And we
Yeah.
can't copy and paste strategies from like a different company, different audience, or similar. They might be doing the same things, but it's gonna be a little bit different. It's a different brand. So what works, what we think might work, might not always work. There's different
Mm,
budgets. And
mm,
I think too many times people come in with expectations. They may have gone to a conference and they're like, "Oh, I met this person and you guys are going to give me results tomorrow." And it's just resetting those expectations and saying, "Hey, look, we're reaching out to people and we're marketing to people, and people change, they
mm.
evolve. There's different needs, there's different ways to search and shop for things now."
Yeah.
Um and we need the data, and in order to collect that data, there's going to be some mistakes that like, that's what's going to show us that, hey, what I did not work, because the data that we've received is telling us that we need to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Not every single marketing strategy you create is going to work, again, because people are different and they're unique. So I always say it's from the get-go, always be transparent in that not everything we try, and hopefully you're working with an agency that does want to try things all the time, because you
Yeah.
can't also get stale. So if they're not telling you that, to me, I'm like, then they're not trying to push the envelope on your marketing goals and your business growth. And the only, I mean, my mom would always say, in order to succeed, you might have to skid your knees a couple of times to
Mhm.
figure out, you know what, I did that, I rode the bike, maybe I need,
Yeah.
I should try a different way, these are the paths that I shouldn't take. But every month, we're always telling them, hey, look, this is what we did, this is what we tried out, these are the results, this is our next set of steps. And that's just the process, is always reassuring them and always telling them that, we're always going to be trying to do, like, an account could be performing really, really great,
Mhm.
but there's always more that we can do. Always more that we can try out. And I think at every level you should always be telling your clients, hey, look, we're gonna test this thing out,
Yeah.
and I think it's gonna be great. it might not.
Mhm.
Just so that if it does go wrong, you've already had that conversation with them, and it's not you're not over promising something that
Mhm.
may not work.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the especially like either with the performance max one or the account structure one, are you good at being the one that spots the mistakes, or have there been occasion where it was someone else in the team that went, Susan, that thing that you did that went wrong, and how's that gone?
Yeah. I think because I manage a team is normally my conversations, if I do have to get on a call, it's usually something happened that
Yeah,
was done over here. And again, I think it's still because we train our team to take accountability for things. And my one ask for everyone is always like, mistakes are gonna happen. What you can't be doing is hiding it.
sure.
So it's always like, okay, let's talk to the client and see what solutions can we provide. Taking accountability first, and then like what are solutions that we can provide for them? What are we going to do to fix this problem? Sometimes you can't fix the problem, and unfortunately, we have to give them refunds for things because again, we did this, and it's more like an education thing where like my teammate and I will schedule a meeting to go over, hey, is there a reason why you made this adjustment? Because
Mm,
I don't want to be talking at this person because made that decision for a reason for that
reason.
account. And it just may not have been the best decision for that account. And they just didn't see it.
Yeah,
And that's why you always have another set of eyes on the account sometimes, because not everything, again, you think is going to work. And like they may not have known, and that's usually it, is that they missed it. Like when you add keywords, it automatically is broad match. And if you are rushing through
yeah,
things,
yeah.
and that's why you don't watch things on a Friday,
Yes,
if you're
yes,
rushing through things, now you have a bunch of broad match and you haven't, it's like a couple weeks go by because you're like, I'm going to let it. I've launched the campaigns. I'm gonna let it do its thing, and then you go in there and you have a bunch of broad match stuff running and you're now wasting a ton of just money. So it's
yeah,
just making sure repetition is talking to the clients and taking accountability for it, and then us being like, okay, we're going to work on this together
mm,
um internally and use it as more of a lesson thing. Like we do 5 minutes of PPC just
yeah,
to be like, hey, let's not forget these things to double check. But again, they may have made the decision really, really thinking that that was the right thing to do for
yeah.
that account. And I'm not going to ever blame someone on, like you made a decision and it just wasn't the right one. And that's
Right one.
fine. That's it. So, yeah, just
No,
conversation.
that's good. That's good. That's great managerial tips for people right here on how to deal with the team as to, I've said that in like previous episodes of like when the issue happens, don't start. The priority shouldn't be who do we blame? It should be what's the solution? Why did the mistake happen? How do we avoid it for future? Was it something that you saw somewhere? Was it a best practice that someone mentioned? Be careful about best practices, It's
Yeah.
not, it's not the same. It's changing all the time. So yeah, just being patient with the team that you're managing. Before we get to the next stage of like the whole talking about, let's say, mistake that we're seeing in AI, how would you like to just, in terms of like the takeaways from the story in terms of what you want people to leave people with remembering in terms of like, and especially like how you do things differently based on those particular mistakes that you've made.
I think always take your time with structuring whichever there's just always so many changes happening with whatever platform you work on. Take your time setting that stuff up. Yes, we have AI and it can help us write these ads. It can help us do all these new things and stuff. But if we're rushing through the foundation of how we create our marketing strategies and our structures,
Mm,
mistakes will tend to happen a lot more that could be avoidable.
yeah,
Um, and just understanding also that we are in an industry that is ever changing and we always want to continue to push the envelope and always be testing. So it's okay if something doesn't work.
yeah,
At least you tried it, and we learned from it. I mean, Performance Max now is getting better because people are trying it and they are giving feedback to Google and Bing on those platforms to make them better, to make us better at our jobs and make better decisions for our clients. So definitely take your time and always just keep pushing the envelopes for your
amazing.
clients.
Yeah, take your time, guys. And I think one acronym that I like to A long list of acronyms is like ABT, always be testing. Always be testing. So yeah, guys, remember that. Always be testing and propose everything as a test proposal so that even if something goes wrong, we can be like, well, this is what we learned from it and we know not to do it that
Mhm.
way. And that's always a valid response. So anyway, let's get into taking the spotlight, the shining bright like investigatory light off you. Let's take it, move it towards, you survived it. Well done. Let's now look at our industry and to, maybe like
Yeah.
accounts that you've taken over or just in general from what people, talk about. A lot of people will be like, this is how I do things. This is how I do things kind of thing. What would you say are the big F ups that people are making in terms of like, yeah, paid search right now, especially with the whole using AI, especially? Are there any things that stick out to you?
This is a terrible thing. I'm a very honest, very transparent. I think people we're getting lazy.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think in that when we get clients that come to us, you can tell that yes, things can be automated,
Mm,
which is really great.
mm.
But in some instances, we are using that too far of an extent where that human touch in our ads and our the way that we run our marketing strategy still needs to be there, and we can't just it's supposed to be an assist and supposed to help make our jobs easier. It's not supposed to do all of the work.
Yeah.
So we are getting upset at like these campaigns that aren't working. I'm like, well, it's because you're depending solely on this algorithm and this
Yeah.
AI to do the work for you, and that just doesn't work out. Our ad copies are starting to look very generic because you can tell you
Mhm.
went on whatever you copied and paste, and now when you're looking on searches, everything looks very, very similar, and it's just AS. I don't think AS quite there yet with making things that unique. So, and you just can't. If you're gonna give it instructions to give you ads, give it instructions
Yeah.
to give you good quality ads.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the thing is we're just getting a little lazy. We need to start paying it closer attention to and be intentional with
Mm.
how we utilize those platforms tonight.
For sure. Like it's an area of like this whole like AI revolution that I'm going to really be like honing in on, in coming months, next year, is actually about how the role of the expert and how it takes actually a PPC expert or an SEO expert or a graphic designer expert to actually use these AI tools. And you can tell when it's an amateur that has used the tool
Yep.
because of the output. And I think people are feeling like if they're like, oh, they're getting away with it, they can do so much more because they've just used AI, even because, and you literally go to yourself and you look at the output and we're like, we know you just copied and pasted this because this is not it. We're not using critical thinking. An analogy that I really want people to sit with is like when we're a student, and especially those like the ones of us who are like really like high performing, high achievers kind of ones among us. You'll do a homework or you'll do a piece of work that you've been given and you know the standard of work you put in. And then you hand it in and maybe you're expecting an A. And you come back with a B and you're pissed. And you're literally going back to the teacher going, sorry, I gave my best into this. I'm
I
like,
stayed up all night.
I stayed up all night. I did all my research. I quoted people. You know, because we know the quality. And if you're not handing a piece of work that you know the quality, now, AI is going to take that away from you. And it's just going to be like, I don't know, like why should anyone read the work if it's AI's work? It's not your work. And right now, can you even if the teacher gives you a B or C, can you argue? Because it's not your work. And
Mhm.
if you want to argue it and the teacher then goes, well, okay, explain yourself. Explain all your reasoning. Can you? If you cannot explain the reasoning behind the product that the AI has given, you've done a bad prompt. You've not
Mhm.
instructed it well because it takes an expert to see that the output is at the high quality level that it should be. So if
Mhm.
juniors are using AI, I think it's very dangerous because they don't know what good quality should look like. So
Yep.
they'll do a prompt that sounds nice, and they'll look at it and they'll be like, well, that looks good. So now more than ever, I really think that, has its place after you've learned the fundamentals of whatever industry that you're working in. I think
Hmm.
that is absolutely important. Yeah.
I miss I don't know if when you're in middle school or preschool education, whatever, is in like the math classes, they would say, show me your work. You can't just show me the results. You need to show me how, like, the steps, and that so because it proves that you put in the effort and you put in the work and you know how to get to this result. And with AI, everyone's doing this thing where they're just, I want results quickly without putting in that work. And you can't, yeah, as you mentioned, you can't explain yourself if you haven't fully. So I think, especially like, because I have 4 younger sisters and they're in school, and that, like, how did you get from point A to point B? And even in reportings, when you explain to your clients what are the results? What did you do? What
What happened?
happened? And
Yeah.
then, you can't just have AI, like, and that, if you don't know, you're like, oh, this thing did it for me. It's hard to explain. Then they go, well, then why do I have you?
Yeah. 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 I mean, if you're using AI to make what you have, because obviously, especially with a reporter, and that's a very good example. Like, if you just go, oh, AI, these are the graphs, give the client the summary.
Yep.
Actually, you should have gone through that, done a brain dump of what you think the summary is. And maybe AI cleans it up and puts it in like, okay, so let's start with this bit that you said and then go on to this bit. And then let's tie it all together with this bit. It's all your thoughts put in a nicer format. If you make AI think for you, I think one of the biggest failings, or where the biggest area we're being caught out, is because it's called artificial intelligence. We're like, oh, it's intelligent. AI is intelligent because there's intelligence there. So it must be intelligent enough to do what I should do better than I would. And you're like,
No.
yeah. That's another, like, maybe I'll do a talk. We called it wrong. We named it wrong. AI, artificial intelligence. Everybody just
Mhm.
thinks that because it's intelligent, that's good enough. So
It's fun because everyone will say, I use AI, I use AI, and now it just gets thrown out there.
yeah,
And I'm like, what do you use it for? How do you use it? You can't just promote yourself as an agency or a marketer who says, I use AI, and that is your selling point.
yeah,
I want to know how you're utilizing it. Are you utilizing it to design stuff for your
yeah,
clients? What are you? Because there's so many different parts of AI, and there's every single platform has their own versions of AI, and it's insane when people don't want to clarify or can't clarify how they utilize this thing. I'm like, dude, you could say you use it for everything. That's okay, but that sounds a little
yeah,
not sure how I feel about that. But
yeah.
figure
What?
out, it's
What?
just,
Yeah.
yeah, they're
What's
just
the
throwing
point
it
of
out there
it?
and hoping for the best.
That's yeah. So I think a message we can leave audiences with is like the manager's role is still very important. Expert's role is still very important. Learning the basic, learning the fundamentals, especially when you like start building a team, the junior team. Teach them the paid search fundamentals before you start telling them this is where we should use AI.
Yes.
I hope the order of the training for people is
Yeah.
continues to be good. So yeah, Susan, that this has been a great conversation. I made sure to ask Susan at the beginning, going, I hope you don't have a hard stop, because we'll just chat and chat away. But yeah, I feel that that's some very great lessons that we've given people with. But yeah, let's round up now. But just before Susan leaves us, she knows the question that's coming up. If your PPC career were a movie, what would the title be?
I don't know if anyone has seen. There's a movie called The Proposal.
Yes. The one with Ryan
Why?
Reynolds and Sandra
Yes,
Bullock. Yes.
yes, and it's just, I think the adventures that, not, I'm gonna call them adventures. The situations they go through where it's like this tug and pull
Yeah.
game, and they're learning about each other as they get to know one another and his family a little bit more, and it's just funny. So there's like certain situations where, you have really good days and they have really good situations that they happen and they understand each other. So to me, like that's the metrics of just you're always trying to get, you're always trying to learn. And there's always going to be like really good, funny moments. And there's going to be moments that you might want to call in a ball somewhere. I think
Yeah.
at one point she's on the boat and she's talking too much and flies off the boat. So it's, like there's gonna be moments where you think something's gonna work and it just doesn't, and the grandma's just doing
Yeah.
wild things, and that's your client always like keeping an eye on you, but a little crazy. So it's just, I think that that's like the closest because it brings out every aspect of in terms of the turmoils that we go through
Yeah.
and the goods and the bads and the understanding. Then at the end, I'm just a hopeless romantic. So it
Hey.
always, and you make that she makes that decision at the end where she's like, you know what, I'm actually gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell everyone the truth because I love what I do and that's what we should do. And he's like, I agree. And it's just a nice. That's like my favorite movie, and that makes the most amount of logical sense, I guess, as a comparison.
Bless you. I used to be a hopeless romantic, and I don't know. I've gotten a bit of a cold heart now. I'm
No, we
like
need
not
to
the
get.
villain in the story. I'm all like men suck. Let's not even go down there. I love men agree. Some men agree. Oh my god, man, guys, what's going on with y'all?
There's a lot going on.
But the proposal, let's call it that. Like, yeah, Susan's
The
career
proposal.
is summed up with the proposal. And if you like a fun comedy with Ryan Reynolds, check it out. It's a great movie.
Great.
Susan, thank you so much for that. That has been such a great conversation. And if people want to find, more of the learnings, you've been actually posting some videos as well, even on LinkedIn as well recently. Oh, I've given it
Yep.
away. Where can people find your great learnings that you share?
You can always find me on LinkedIn, Susan Yen, and then on our website, Search Lab Digital, on PPC Real Talk. My website is also called PPC Real Talk, so that's where you'll see the videos. You'll see tons of blogs I've written.
Nice.
There's also the slides from my previous presentations that are also there. So
Nice.
all the resources, I'm just throwing them in there, and that's where they live. So feel free to check those.
Amazing. And when you have time, we'd love to get you to write for the PPC Live blog, if that's possible. I mean,
I
I
think
would
we
love
can
it.
find some time between me watching the proposal again for the 500th time. I will.
I love it. I love it. Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Susan.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Well, I told you that there'll be lots of laughs, didn't I? That was a fantastic conversation I had with Susan. I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope you did too. And remember, really, it's all about being patient when you're building these campaigns and being aware of, those sneaky little settings that Google will add that was not there a week ago. So yeah, let's not, be, deceived into thinking that, oh, we're living in AI world, like, everything is automated, performance max, so easy to set up. It's not always easy. And it's not that it's not easy. It's not as simple as you might expect it to be. So take your time, be patient with setting those campaigns up. For all the information and the full transcript of that fantastic conversation, please go to podcast.ppc.live and you'll get all the details for it and how you can find Susan on LinkedIn. Also, yeah, PPC Live events is all very much on our doorstep now. If you're listening to this before October the 22nd, there's time for you to buy a ticket and join us in East London with Talk Agency's fantastic offices, rooftop office. I know it might be cold, so it's not going to be like a balcony kind of networking time, but they've still got fantastic views from up there. So I really love it if you could join us for 3 fantastic talks, some networking times. We might even have the likes of Boris Betteridge coming, joining us all the way from Germany. So, and yeah, he's one that's an expert in his field. He keeps people so engaged on LinkedIn with some of his memes, but also very, very insightful feedback on like the audits that he does and the experiences he has with clients. So yeah, you definitely don't want to miss that. You might even get to meet someone that could be a future employer, someone that could be working with as a freelancer, or some brands in there. For agencies, we're giving 2 free tickets. If you're an agency and that you're coming for one ticket that you've bought, we're going to give you a promo code to get 2 free tickets for a brand client that you work on. So yeah, just send an email to hello@ppcliveuk.com if you're an agency coming and you'd like a free ticket for your client. So yeah, hope to see you then. Before I leave you, I'm also delighted to share that I am taking on coaching clients for mindset coaching, so PPC mindset coaching. And yeah, if you just go to themarketinganu.com, you'll be able to get all the details for that. So yeah, please join me. Go on themarketinganu.com for that. That'll be great. But yeah, for now, I hope you have enjoyed the show, and I look forward to bringing more PPC F-ups and triumphs next week. Thank you. Bye.